No.
Welcome to Death Space episode 3, where we're doing D&D part 2, The Rise of the Sith.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god, no. We're doing NPC, the continuation of part 2, episode 2.
That's right, pieces of shit.
Pieces of shit.
Look, NPCs are the backbone of any D&D campaign. If you do it right, it lasts forever.
For the Dungeons and Dragons virgins out there, we're talking about non-playable characters, the people that your players talk to and therefore try to kill eventually.
Also, the sons of bitches that steal the spotlight every time you want to do something cool. You're in a bar, you're in a tavern, you meet for the first time. You're both brand new wide-eyed adventurers. You've fought goblins before. You've killed bugbears. You're level 3 players adventurers meeting in a tavern, and you see a man in a corner. This man is different. He's different from everyone else in the corner. He has an aura of darkness, of tragic loss, and he looks at you across the bar. A goblin server comes up to you. His name is Gnoblin the Boblin Goblin. What do you want to do?
Can't compete with this.
Yeah.
Just
Some player, NPC, you just throw it out there. Now, Gnoblin the Boblin Goblin is the main character and protagonist of your story, and everyone wants to suck his dick. Where's the gold goblin? In my goblin! Oh, shit!
And then all of a sudden he's the fucking, party's pet. He goes wherever you guys
The
go.
mascot. The tavern burned down, and now Gnoblin the Goblin Boblin is out of work. He's asking you guys, can I go with you?
he's like the only guy you miss.
Yeah.
Literally, players die,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, but what would happen to the goblin?"
Fuck
though?"
Steve! It's Gnoblin the Boblin Goblin!
So
Okay!
you have to die because of the.
Look, man.
The king's son is dead, but is Gnoblin okay?
He was serving at that party. He's catering. He told us all about it.
He was so excited. Okay, no, but NPCs, for real, one of the best parts of the story, one of the great drivers that you'll find in your game.
Roxy. The Adam Pomfrey Sexual Emporium.
They will drive, they are your DM's will in the game. They will help you guide your players really well.
And you know what? As bad as it gets, players let you down. You fuck up some detail that the players give you shit for. But Gnoblin the Boblin Goblin will always be the same.
True.
Happy, fun-loving, and also getting the mischief anytime you can.
Yeah.
Anyway, NPCs, love them, hate them, bad guys, good guys. Who do you like playing as an NPC?
Oh man, who do I like playing as an NPC the most? I'm torn between 2 NPCs that I have. In my Friday campaign, it is McLeod, and she is a Irish dwarf, and she's like the head of her clan. And in my Monday campaign, I have a genie named Roxy, who is the
Love interest.
definitely a love interest and the talk of the town in our group. Usually every time she comes out, everyone's talking about who is she. Is her and Nyx going to get together, which is one of my players. My player Nyx is wondering if she's going to get in a relationship with her. It's just high tension. It's they've shipped them already, and it's interesting to see an NPC has that much weight when they're doesn't matter what the game's going to do, as long as Roxy gets with Nyx,
Martinez was my favorite NPC in that campaign because she was innocent, she was adorable, she didn't know the real world in that gritty universe that we were playing in. Mm-hmm. And I want to think that Riley helped that, but honestly, I feel like he did more harm than good with her, and definitely she did more harm than good to him.
Yeah. On my Monday session, Martinez is a human who got into this special agent group, which is a lot of like we got Dragonborns, the genies, the tieflings, and so she's the half-orcs.
So we're talking about the baddest of the bad. These guys are basically your version of SWAT.
Honestly, it's a little bit racist.
Yeah,
because humans aren't allowed to join. They're not good enough.
Yeah, humans aren't allowed to join because they have these people have like special abilities, and these people that have special abilities don't join the MPD, which is the maximum police department. So this human, it's like an agreement that they have her joining this group.
This kind of like a relationship thing between MPD and Shipguard.
Yeah, exactly. So they have them to kind of like swap over. Yeah. And so she's there, and so she's weak. A lot of people are calling her like puny. What is squishy? Excuse that. They call her the squishy, and they've been calling her squishy. So I think it's a form of hazing that was happening in there.
Riley's always been serious with Martinez. Mm-hmm. Always going, hey, this isn't kids' game. We need to see what you can do first. And if you can't hack it, you're sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And honestly, Martinez went to the shooting range. She did great. And you know what? This was a big thing with Riley, even though I didn't know at the time. Because Riley was very serious at the early start of the campaign. Even though he was fun, he sang songs. He had a midnight, like an opening spot on Monday's pub night, where he would just sing his songs on, whatever, acoustically.
Yep.
But when Martinez is down there, she's 17, 18, 19. She's great at what she does. But to show her up, Riley just goes, you have to be able to do this. Riley fucking just started going, I know this is an audio show, but he just takes his gun, turns around, points it behind him, shoots between his legs, spins, drop kicks, shoots at the same time. I rolled a nat 20 on performance, and I have plus 10 on top of that. So I got a natural 30. Mm-hmm. So it was just, that was the reality of the situation. And Martinez, I feel like I hurt her feelings, and you definitely played it like Martinez was really hurt by that, because she's like, I'm actually good at what I do, but am I ever going to measure up to these people in this sense? Like, yeah, I'm good. Any human's great, but like, can I step above that? And it looks like I can't do it. And I feel like I hurt Martinez's feelings right off the bat, but it wasn't like that. Riley was just saying, you got to be really good at this.
So what you're saying is that Mariah's NPC in-game affected how you felt as a character? And how that affected the story as well? And that's great. Yeah,
I wanted to be her training officer, and it didn't turn out well because the group didn't handle that very well. They took Martinez's side, and it kind of pushed them away from Riley away from them. And it's just like, well, this guy's an asshole. I mean, yeah, we're calling her squishy. Yeah, she's not. We're calling her kind of lame. But we didn't show her up. We didn't, we didn't take away this veil of innocence.
Exactly.
And honestly, I didn't realize it would be such a defining moment for Riley. I didn't even realize that until I just said it right now, because that is where things started getting a little tough.
So that is where you found yourself now, now that you've played how many episodes? How many chapters?
It's been at least 3-4 months.
Yeah, we've been playing for 3 or 4 months every Monday. Yeah.
So for 3 or 4 months, this one interaction with an NPC caused Riley's evolution from by the book cop to suddenly a vigilante.
It was a tipping scale. I think that's really what it was. It's that an NPC, this person who I didn't think was going to have much of a much weight or have much meaning in the game itself. The moment Martinez came in and she tried to kind of show her worth, or just kind of show what she can bring to the table, and then Riley was letting her know, hey, you might know some stuff, but you don't know everything, which is something that a training officer would do for you, was the tipping scale that happened, because then the group was like, hey, don't pick on that squishy. Only we can pick on her. You can't pick on her. And all of a sudden, it was like a wedge was made. And I think that was like the first chip into the relationship between Riley and the rest of the rest of his team.
Yeah, it just goes to show how important NPCs are. Even if they don't do what you intend to do, or have the same effect on the players that you think that they will. Because, I mean, I'm sure when you conceive, what was your name again? Sorry?
Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Marissa, I don't know why. When you conceive Martinez, you didn't imagine that would ever happen at all.
No.
Dude, that's the thing. NPCs, they get you.
Yeah, and
it's just like that meme. Funny guys are dangerous. You're laughing, suddenly you're naked.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Martinez even evolved as a character too, which is really weird that you have like NPCs. Like, I'm sure like for you guys too, as y'all's DMing, like you have an NPC who is with the party for a long time. They start changing. Martinez was just somebody who would type up reports. She wasn't even allowed in the field at the MPD office because she just they don't feel like she knew enough. And then, you gave her a gun, gave her a little bit of confidence, and she, like, there was a scene that they had where Martinez just like goes in guns a-blazing and she shoots up a whole entire strip club. Like, she just shoots, like, mows people down.
She grabs a skinny lady and uses her as a human shield.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did this Martinez come from?
Yeah, and it was all because she was in the same car with Riley, and it was just like she was trying to prove to him, like, hey, I can do it too.
Yeah, I get that now. I mean,
Yeah.
back then I was just thinking, Martinez is fucking crazy. She's this, okay, you know what it is? It's this innocent little girl who just wants to show up, her betters, And I was just like, that's not how this is going to work, Martinez. I'm teaching you. Follow my rules and we'll be okay. And she went off the fucking handle the second I did it.
Yep.
Because I was showing her up every turn. I was being like, hey, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. In one scene, Martinez watches I grabbed a phone book. And she's like, wait, you can't use a phone book to hurt a suspect? You're right. I need the bigger one. Give me the ones with all the logs. And I grabbed that bigger phone book, and I was like, you be quiet, Martinez. I'm going to show you how this is actually done. And I grabbed that phone book, and I beat 2 men almost to death.
Yeah, near death. And it was just like rolling damage, like one after the other.
Wow.
And it was like the brink of death. Like, these guys probably, like, maybe another D6 would have done it.
Yeah.
So would you say that Martinez as NPC actually pushed your character, like to prove to her that you know what you're doing? It pushed you to actually go beyond certain limits that you don't think that you would have gone otherwise?
To be fair, another player character actually helped with this because one of our players, Nix, got kidnapped. Riley feels very... I should separate myself from this. Riley, the character, has very strong feelings towards his squad. Now, he always viewed him as he always wanted... He's an orphan. And he had a great family growing up. But he grew up before that with friends that were on the wrong side of the law. And when he joined... when he turned a new leaf, when he was like, I want to be a cop. I can't just throw my life away destroying other people's lives. I want to protect people. He threw away all his friendships too. And he was alone. Now, the other players, they think of Riley as kind of like a joke because he's happy-go-lucky. He sends them these invites, e-fights to to pub shows and stuff like that. Hey guys, Monday, it's pub night. You know what time it is? I know you guys are busy, but hey, 6 p.m. Every Monday, show up. They never show up. I have 3 fans, diehard fans. And, at the time, Riley doesn't get all this. He's just trying to really turn a leaf. And he's clung on to them as a sort of identity, being like, these are my friends, these are my coworkers. I'm on the right side of the law now. I have these friends on the right side of the law, and I'm smothering them. Mm-hmm. And Riley doesn't understand that. Mm-hmm. So when he gets rejected turn after turn, he gets a little bit darker. He gets a little bit more cynical. And when Nix gets captured, he's like, hey, I'm still following the law, but I got Martinez who needs to know that these things happen, and I'm also desperate to get my friend back, whom I view as a family member, that they didn't want no part of me. That's the thing. The group doesn't want a part of me because Riley, he thinks he's the best. And in a sense, he is the best at what he does. It's just not what the group wants to do. Yeah. And that's how I view it anyway, as Riley McFinnigan. As Michael, the DM, I honestly feel a little bit separate from the group as well because I was DMing these guys. And now I'm playing with them, and I feel like they feel like, oh man, this guy knows all the stops, all the rules. You know, when Riley stumbles, he's like, dexterity. You know, so I'm already separated from them as a player because I feel like they think I have too much experience, and like I'm judging them slightly, but it's not that at all. I want to play Riley McFinnigan, and as I get involved with myself, I forget people are around me, and my narcissism translates to Riley McFinnigan, and the group I feel like feels that too.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
And
great.
that's what happens.
That's great, man. And to be honest, that once you are a DM, it's hard to be a player again, and it's hard to play with people that know you as a DM because all of a sudden it's like we're just gonna follow your lead and automatically, well, my guy is just a basic noob. He doesn't know anything. We're gonna follow you anyway because you're a DM. You already know what you're doing.
They did not do that at all for me. They were like, fuck whatever Riley has to say. This is how we're doing the story.
Well,
this is how
true.
I do
Okay,
it.
so that's perfect too. It's like it can go either way. There's no one way that things will happen. Like that's the best thing about D&D is that you never know what's gonna happen until it happens. And to be honest, I mean, Martinez as an NPC blew up in a way that you didn't expect, and it caused a change in the entire group that made Riley who he is, made the group what they are.
You know
And
what?
their
It just
whole
reveals who
dynamic.
Riley always was.
And to be honest, it makes for NPC. It just proves that NPCs are a bigger part than just a goblin warrior or just like
A throwaway character.
a throwaway character. Because you never know when an NPC is going to come back up.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have an NPC story that you put an NPC in there and all of a sudden it just became real?
I made him real.
You made him real, okay.
Here's the thing. I have this international group. I got a guy in Ireland, I got a guy in England, and I have a guy in Israel. They're great guys. They're awesome. I love playing with them. I spent every morning on a Friday or Saturday playing with these guys on international time because those fuckers were 10 hours ahead. 7, 8, 10 hours ahead. And we had to coordinate. You know how hard it is? I've done groups with 8 people before. You were there actually for that when I started.
Yeah.
And that was hard. But when you have people 10 hours ahead of you, you're playing in your morning, it's their afternoon, you know? And, you get, it was very fun. But here's the thing. When I started them out, I have the guy in Ireland, he's a min-maxer. Now, it's really difficult to play with a min-maxer. This guy has a lot of experience. He knows how to game the system. He made, like, this unstoppable character.
So for people who don't know what's min-maxer.
Oh, a min-maxer is someone who gets his class, a race, and puts all his stats with his race and class and makes it the best it can possibly be, minimizing the weakness it has, but exponentially boosting his power to something incredible.
So he's trying to break your game, essentially.
Trying to break my game.
No.
I've killed this character more times than I can fucking count. Because here's the thing, and this is great. I mean, this is a whole other topic, but he would play these characters. They would be like, I want to destroy this magical artifact. He doesn't know that this magical artifact, while seemingly insignificant as a wand, is a wand of fireballs. And I boosted that shit up to like 19. So this thing is like if a god attacked you.
Oh, God.
I want to destroy it.
You brought that into your game. Why? Why?
Here's the thing. You know how we talked about in the last episode, we fudged things a little bit. Mm-hmm. It wasn't technically one of fucking 19 levels or whatever. It was just a wand of fireballs. Fireball. D6 damage. Or like 10d6, no problem. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I want to just destroy it. I want to launch it in the air so high when it comes down it explodes. And I said, okay. He launched it as high as he could. High, hit the atmosphere, came down on the neighboring country, leveled the country. I destroyed an entire nation because of his ass. His character died because the survivors found out he did it. Yeah, the surviving national hero, Balthar the Good, was like, I have a group of refugees I'm transporting from the nearby nation. A meteor came out from the sky and destroyed our entire country. And he's like, did it look like a wand? He's like, it did resemble a wand. Oh yeah, I did that. What? Balthazar the Good might as well have been a fucking god, for he smited the shit out of him and killed him.
Oh shit.
Here's another thing. He got a wish from a wishing ring. It's a sword. You can find the DM's manual. I forget the name of it, but basically it's this sword that has 3 wishes at the pommel, and you can use. I said you found the sword in this you killed a beholder. It's been holding this sword for 1,000 years. He's like, and it has a wish. He's like, I wish to be level 20 instantly. I said, I knew you'd say that. He disappeared. In the future, your characters are older. You're 20 years old. You're leading a band of young adventurers. In the middle of a field, you see a gray, haggard, old man, clothes tattered around him. He kills a kobold with one final swing. He's like, I did it! Level 20. And you die of a heart attack. He leveled up to level 20, all right.
A nice twist on the old fucking, like, be careful what you wish for.
Yep.
Monkey paw. Dude, that took a stroke of brilliance that I rarely have. But the NPC I want to talk about is a man called Farmer. Farmer.
Oh, Farmer.
Yeah. Farmer was a regular farmer, so he started out as, who had a pig named Sue, who had a farm that he was trying to protect from magical crows from a neighboring wizard tower that ate a wizard's like magical enchantment stuff. These things were messenger crows, and they could take items and transport and give it to someone else.
Okay.
That's what these crows were doing, and these crows somehow got into this stash of magical items, and they flew away from this tower. And now they were eating this farmer's corn. You guys have been hired. You guys are like level 3 characters, and you guys just needed a break. And you know what? You guys are guarding this farmer's farm. And you see this pig named Sue. Now, my friend who's Irish goes, oh man, can I take the pig? And I said, okay, you can take Sue. And also, in a neighboring like area where the corn is rising, a flame erupts. And this fire demon's running through there. You guys kill the fire demon, you kill the crow, and out from this crow, you find 3 things. You get a ring of giant strength. You get a belt of like a giant ice giant fury. You get a ring of X-ray vision. And you want to take Sue with you on your adventure? Sure, you can take Sue on your adventure. Sue just goes oink oink, but she is like her own person. She takes up her own picture. There is actually a very risque scene with Sue where they're at this count's party, and you guys are partying, you guys are having a good time, but you're like, where's Sue? Sue is in a ball gown because they needed to disguise her because pigs weren't allowed, and you guys go into this room, you see Sue, her gown is over her breasts, and she's taking like a portrait, and the guy's drawing her, and she's like, oink, and you guys, and you guys close the door immediately. I don't want to know what's in there.
Wow.
And so, here's the thing. After this party, the players go on their next adventure. An invading army from across the sea is now taking over that same country, that castle they were left. Mm-hmm. And now it's an army. They can't fight it. They have to go to the neighboring country and ask for help and aid because this whole place is going down. In the field where they are sitting, a nightmare approaches. On his back, a rider, in armor, black as night. Fire illuminates his eyes, and he says, oh, I finally found you after all this time. Give me back Sue!
What?
Farmer was actually a retired paladin who worshipped nature as its own thing, right?
Holy
Sue
shit.
was a gift from his deity, who he sworn to protect from all time. And to do so, he couldn't bring Sue to dangerous situations. He needed to settle down. Sue was as a wild spirit, and is a natural spirit that has his god's favor. He lost Sue and fell into what is now called the Death Knight, which means he can never die until he recovers and regains the favor of his god. And he became a Death Knight because he lost Sue, someone he was sworn to protect this entire time.
So somebody heard your story, and then they did some like adjusting, and then they made John Wick. That's what I think happened.
No, this was before John Wick.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody
Yeah.
heard your story, and then
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, you know what we're gonna do?
Instead of a pig?
Instead of a pig, we're gonna do a dog.
And that's not even named a dog, it's just a dog.
It's gonna be a dog. Yeah, and then instead of a deity, instead of a deity, we're gonna have a wife. She dies to cancer, and then we're gonna have the dog. Yeah, that's probably what the fuck happened.
So that's my NPC that meant nothing. He was literally named Farmer. He didn't have only one job: farm and keep farming. His farm burns down. His deity's gift to him has been stolen, and he falls to darkness. And to regain his honor, he goes and tries to find Sue, gain her back, kill whoever takes her, and becomes this amazing character. He is level 15 and a strong as hell Death Knight who almost kills those guys outright. But in the end, he just says, "Sue, come with me. Your purpose is mine." And Sue jumps on the back of his nightmare, and they ride away, never to be seen again, but always to be remembered.
Great story. That is a good NPC. To be honest, your NPC stories both outshine my own.
They outshine the people!
Yeah, exactly. There's so much to unravel there. And to be honest, I feel kind of jealous. Those are amazing stories. I never would have guessed that would have happened.
Don't get me started on Twiddly Widdly.
Great NPCs, guys. I mean, that's the best stories I've heard.
What's your NPC?
My NPC story is kind of like, it's like when like everybody's at this party and they're like, "Oh yeah, the craziest party, man. We did blow off this guy's dick and all this other stuff." And it's like,
I was living
my greatest party. I was with a couple of my friends. We ate like a lot of pizza, like amazing amounts of pizza.
I drink so much soda, my stomach hurt.
I drink so much soda, I can't drink soda anymore.
That's
my famous party. Like it's kind of like that. It's like my NPC didn't do that. They didn't have like amazing like backgrounds like Sue and her paladin protector,
farmer,
or Martinez, who became a badass from a pencil pusher to a badass.
Yeah,
as much as she could.
And to be honest, I mean, the thing is, I had an NPC, just a quick NPC bard I made, just to have in a bar, just like in any place. Like you go to a tavern, there's a bard playing.
Gnoblin, the Boblin Goblin?
No. It happened to be an elf NPC, like an elf NPC, fiery red hair, mane, classic bard, classic whatever. It's just stereotypical bard.
Okay.
Right? You would never like think of anything, and immediately the other like half player in my party or in the campaign was like, "I want to have sex with that bard," and lo and behold, it took him a couple rolls, but he did it. Okay, sure. And for some reason,
isn't that how it's always done? You just roll a couple times and you did sex?
Yes, you did the sex.
I feel like all of your games end in some form of sex. Like,
no, not all of them, but it's a heavy dose of sex in it. But I mean, that's the thing. You put adults in like a sandcastle, and there's sex dungeons.
There has to be. There has to be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's a DM negative.
So we were talking about your story.
Yes, like I said, my character, the NPC that I put up was just the standard, like, bard, elf, red hair, classic beauty, and classic player wants to have sex with that classic beauty.
Was it a guy or a girl?
Guy having sex with a female elf.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's a half elf, so I was like, immediately like, "Hey man, normal elves don't like half elves, you're gonna have to roll like really high." So he made a fool out of himself a couple times, and eventually they had sex.
Please sleep with me. I'm so wrong. I really need the comfort of another person. I've forgotten what kindness is.
I had him roll a performance check. He did not do well. He was not invited back. Anyway, so that was the first session, like 2 years ago. And just over the next 2 years of like playing in that game, or in the story, like they would go on like different missions, different quests, but they always come back to the same tavern and have their drinks, have their fun. It's the place they wind down. And eventually they owned it, but like, it'd be a running gag. Like, I come home, I want to have sex with the half elf, or the elf bard. I want to like do this other stuff, and it was just like, wow, you guys aren't even gonna just get her name. You didn't even ask her what her name is. You're just like, I want to have sex with her. Okay, cool.
Ain't that life though?
It's Goblin Slayer all over.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, roll. And I was like, I was getting progressively like fed up with them. Like, man, you guys. Like, really? Okay, really.
You're like, I have a story.
Yeah, she has this name, okay? You never asked her name.
She has a backstory.
It's 27 AD. Women have rights now.
Yeah, and it was like, and there's like, classic bard, classic want to hook up, and like, it's a bard, you know, with stories.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. So, before I leave, I used to live in Hawaii, but before I left, we had a final game. after 2 years, they were chasing down this ancient relic. And they finally managed to defeat the boss that had the relic, only for the relic to erupt in a magical protective barrier that would have shredded them on impact if they were to get in contact with it. So they're discussing like, they're arguing what they're going to do, what they're going to be, and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, a form appears and shoots through the window in a green cloak. Immediately, the figure jumps through the blades of magic and lands directly on the treasure and snatches it for herself. One of the blades of magic cuts the hood off, and you see majestic red hair fall down the back. You look at her, and you've seen her 1,000 times. You've never asked her name. You've always been personal with her, but she's always been with you, always watching, always waiting for this one moment after 2 years of abuse, neglect, and not even getting any recognition. She looks at you, winks, and then it disappears in the blades of magic. The end. And that was how we ended 2 years of campaigning for a single relic with an unnamed bard and elf, taken for granted and advantage, and she manages to steal the last item they were looking for.
That's fucking great.
It's a good story.
Fucking awesome.
It just emphasizes how powerful NPCs are. Because you never know.
Never know. A dog may belong to an ancient god. An unknown bard may become like your greatest enemy that you'll never get to face again.
Or it could just be the humble office clerk becomes this badass person with 2 guns, kicking out doors, saying, "Come here, you skinny bitch," and and he starts shooting up the club.
And that, my friends, is how we'll end this episode
of Death Space. Now, we have to say this for legal reasons, but we are not brought to you by Chemo?
Well, we're not brought to you by Harmonex. We want another rock band. Do it. Where's 5? We want 5. Don't give us this card deck kind of thing. But yeah, no. On a serious note, we are brought to you by nobody.
Wait, we're not brought to you by anybody.
Yeah, no, like I said, we were brought to you by nobody, anybody. So you know what? This is just our time to say thank you for the things that we like in our lives. So thank you very much for.
You're giving them way too much credit. This episode's brought to you by Tasteless Gentleman Podcast. Now, if you want to get into some deep sexual things and also listen to some great stories by some guys